guys, it's me Anais, and I am going to be doing a 25 bookish facts about me tag thing. I was tagged to do this by Estrada, and I am going to link his video down below, so if you want to check that out, please head over. And without further ado, let's get into it. I've got my tea. So, number 1. I used to own the whole Oxford English Dictionary, the whole thing, and I would read it for fun, so light reading. And every volume, it's pretty thick, there's a bunch of volumes, and they wrapped all the way around my bedroom in my old apartment. So anyhow, light reading. Number 2, I read my first romance novel when I was around the age of 11 or 12, somewhere in there, and I found them squirreled away in my grandmother's retirement home community. They had a little library, and they had tons of Regency romance novels. They had some other more contemporary ones, but mostly Regency, and I read every single one. The funny thing is that I do really like romance novels, but I'm not a very romantic person in real life. I am not the kind of person who would ever remember an anniversary, especially of things like, oh, remember when we first kissed? Yeah, no, I don't, sorry. And I don't need little romantic gifts like whatever, flowers or anything. Anyway, I'm just not very romantic in real life. But in books, thank you. I like it a lot. Okay, number 3. I wrote my first complete novel when I was 17 years old. I wrote a lot of other things before that, like short stories or attempts at novels that didn't quite make it all the way to the words "the end." Poetry, music, but anyway, my first full novel I wrote when I was 17. Number 4, I have kept a journal on and off since around the age of 9. At least that is when my earliest notebooks are dated. So I could have been writing around, but I don't remember, and probably not. Anyway, so number 5. Some of the books that offended me the most when I first found them as a teenager have become my favorites of all time. So examples of this would be Henry Miller. He was so shocking to me. And Leonard Cohen. Man, the first time I heard him and read his work, and he was talking about all sorts of what to me at the time was very taboo and naughty, have become my all-time favorites. I love that stuff. I think that their work is brilliant. I had a fish for a while that was named Henry Miller. Unfortunately, he has passed on, bless his little fishy heart. Number 6. I considered myself a songwriter before I considered myself a novelist or a writer in general. Although I must say some of my earlier works were heavily mocked, which I think is, I was about to say is a good thing, but I don't think it's ever really good to mock a kid's efforts. Maybe that's not good, but it did help me develop a very thick skin about my work and be able to say, okay, you don't like it, and move on, or oh, you don't like it, and if the reason is valid, then I can change it. And anyway, it just made me tougher about it. One of the first real performances that I had was at my grandmother's retirement community, and I remember I played the piano and I sang stuff that I wrote, and God, I was a kid, so probably 11 or 12, same age where I was reading all those romance novels, and my grandmother was a bit embarrassed, I believe, and she didn't think that it was very good, and my aunt said I definitely needed piano and voice lessons because I was just a mess. So probably it was a mess, but again, you know, hey, I got up there and I played and I sang, and yeah, that is pretty brave thing to do. I challenge anybody to do something public like that in their life because it's good for you. Of course, it hurt my feelings when my relatives panned my performance, but I covered it up with bravado, I think, and more ear splintering music. Yes. Number 7. So, I can read anywhere, which some people find strange. Like, if I have 5 seconds, I can pull out a book and read a paragraph and then close it again and come back to it. Number 8. I have had nightmares about the library at Alexandria burning. Like, horrible, horrible nightmares. Um, I think that is one of the greatest tragedies that we know about. It's so horrible. Anyway, number 9. I am absolutely against the attempts to ban books. Number 10. I will read books in almost any genre, so it doesn't really matter to me if it is a good book or if I find it interesting, I'll read it. Yep. Number 11. Once when I was a kid, the basement flooded and all of my books were destroyed, and I still haven't quite got over that. Number 12. If the library ever asks for money on my little tax ballot thing, you know, like they say, hey, can we please raise taxes by 2 cents? I always say yes. Yes, you can have my money. Yes. Number 13. I prefer books to movies. Number 14. I read all of the Francesca Lia Block books that I could for, you know, quite a few years. I was very obsessed and I would read all of them. And I still have my collection and I will reread them because I think that they're good. I love them. And some of those books actually people did try to ban, mostly for homosexual characters. So that goes back to the banned book thing. Just no. Anyway, I was super excited when I submitted poetry to be in an anthology that she was the editor of, and she accepted it because this is one of my literary heroes who's basically validating me and saying, hey, yes, I approve. So basically the idea of Francesca Lia Block seeing my work and saying, yes, this is worthy it was validating and surreal. 15. Most of the time I finish books, even if I disagree with the author's opinion. Rarely I throw the book across the room, and that just makes me feel stupid. It doesn't help anything. Number 16. If I am really touched by somebody's work, I write them and I tell them because I want that artist who's probably working away alone and just plagued by self-doubt. I let them know that what they do matters. Number 17. My favorite person to trade books with is my voice teacher because she has excellent taste. Number 18. I like to make displays of my favorite books with items that represent them. Like, for example, for my American God books and my Neil Gaiman books, I have a bunch of little God finger puppets and I keep them there. And with my Game of Thrones books, I have 3 stuffed dragons. Very cute. Number 19. I used to make paper dolls of some of the characters that I would write about. And actually, I think that I should do that again because it was fun. Number 20. I have a ridiculous collection of notebooks, all colors, shapes, sizes, and I carry them around based on different moods or for different types of writing. But I always carry them with me so that if I have an idea, I can write it down in the proper notebook right away. Number 21. I self-published a book of poetry on Amazon, which was a very exciting journey. I went ahead and painted my own book cover, which was also quite an adventure. Number 22. I try to buy ebooks now because my bookshelves are full and overflowing. Number 23. I prefer real books though. Number 24. I used to get tons of books at library sales, really cheap. And that is part of what caused this whole book overflow problem to happen. Number 25. If I'm reading a book and they say something that I don't know about, or there's a book with a word that I don't know about, I have to put the book down and research it, because I'm obsessed with everything and curious. I'm just curious about everything. I'm way too curious. So I'm very excited that I have access to the internet now, because that used to mean thumbing through the dictionary in hopes of finding what I was looking for, and now you can just type it into a search engine and find all kinds of things about that. So anyway, yeah, yay internet. Alright guys, well that is my 25 bookish facts about me. I hope that you liked it. I'm gonna finish my tea. Yes, it's so nice and warm. And I hope that you have tea too. Talk to you next time. Goodbye.